Shauna here again. It has been another 4 weeks since my last video. So sorry about that. I have even more questions to catch up on this time, not in my scrubs this time. What's really exciting is that over the next 2 weeks, I'm going on a lot of adventures. As of tomorrow, I will be in high level Alberta with Project Possum doing some high altitude noctilucent cloud research. So for those of you who've been following the citizen science journey, you get to follow us along on that. And then I'll be in Korea, and then I will be in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. So it's going to be a really busy few weeks. Hopefully I can keep up with the videos, and if you want to send me some questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So let's get to it. One question that I've been wanting to spend some time on is one question I get asked a lot, and that is, how do I get more involved with space science, space research? How can I incorporate it into my career? What career should I pursue? What about being a pilot versus an engineer versus a doctor? So I wanted to start with that one first. So I'm going to repeat the advice that Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield gave to me once, and that was, pick what you love and that you can be really, really good at. So obviously a science background is preferred if it is space that you're interested in as a career, but whether you want to be a doctor or an engineer or a pilot, pick which one you love, and there's no reason you can't do more than one of those things. If you look at David Saint-Jacques, the next Canadian to go up to the International Space Station in a few years here, he's a PhD in astronomy. He has 2 engineering degrees. He's a family physician, and he's a commercial pilot. So he fits all of the above. It's just a matter of time management. For those of us who aren't quite astronauts, but who really love space and want to become interested, I'll throw down some links for you, but there are so many ways to get involved in space. So I got my start through several avenues. When I was a student, I became involved with the International Space University, I became involved with the International Space University, and that is in Strasbourg, France. And basically their philosophy is international, intercultural, interdisciplinary. So they encompass all aspects of space policy, space law, engineering, technology, manned space flight, international cooperation, the world's major space agencies. And that's really where I got my start. And from there, I went on to intern at the European Astronaut Center through the European Space Agency. And that was kind of my start into space medicine. For those of us who aren't quite ready to commit to an actual degree, there's so many different organizations out there. So there's the Students for the Exploration and Development of Space. They started out as an American organization, but now they are worldwide. There's Canadian chapter, there's local chapters, national chapters, there's British chapters, they're all over. So if you look up SEDS, S-E-D-S, on a Google search, and I'll throw down some links for you, that's a really good start. One organization that I'm involved with is called the Association of Space Flight Professionals. We were formerly known as Astronauts for Hire, and basically our mandate is to help young professionals develop their expertise and their experience in space knowledge, research, payload development, and technology development. So really any aspect of space that you want to learn about, that you want to develop research towards, that's what ASP is about. I'm the life sciences team lead, so basically my mandate is to help our members learn more about the space life sciences and space medicine. So we hold journal clubs, we run some research projects, we've developed some lectures for the public. So we've done quite pretty much everything we can to help our members learn more about space. So there's a whole ton of avenues. If you're in Canada, there's the CSS, there's the Canadian Space Society. I'm the life sciences chair for that. If you're in the States, there's a National Space Society. There's a whole bunch of conferences. There's the International Astronautical Congress that takes place in a different country every single year in September or October. It is a giant gathering of all the world's space experts in every single space topic. It's a really good time, really worth attending. If you're in North America, There's the International Space Development Conference that I've been going to and running one of the sessions called the Launchpad for every year. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are interested in space, there are so many avenues. The last one I want to point out to you is MOOCs, or massive online open courses. So if you want to learn on your own, but you don't really have the time to commit to an academic degree, I would suggest exploring something like Coursera or edX to learn more about space. So that's what I have to say about that. We're already getting to 5.5 minutes here. So we'll answer a couple more questions and then we'll send you on your way, but I'll be back over the next few weeks, I promise. So Harshavard Handesh Pandey asks, who, according to me, would be most likely to send the first human to Mars? NASA, CSA, Israel, ESA, or one of the world's other major space agencies. To be honest, I think it's going to come from the private sector. So Elon Musk has been very vocal with SpaceX about wanting to actively colonize Mars. He got up on stage this week and said, here are the technical plans for it. He even went up on stage at the International Astronautical Congress in Mexico, in Guadalajara last fall, and said, we're going to Mars. And then, not to be outdone, the CEO of Boeing the next month said, well, we're going to beat you to Mars. So there is kind of a private space race going. So if there's going to be a human mission to Mars, I think it's going to come from the private sector. That being said, I think we still have a lot of challenges to address in terms of keeping humans alive and healthy, protected from radiation, protected against a lower gravity environment. The environment on Mars is 1/3 compared to Earth. And then just having disrupted circadian or rhythms, so disrupted day-night cycles, being confined in an isolated environment, in close quarters. There's a lot of challenges that need to be solved. So I don't think that we're addressing them as fully as we could be right now. More questions. Joe O'Donnell, 23, wants to know my morning routine, ritual, or practice to optimize performance. That is a great question, Joe. Thank you so much for it. I think for me, it comes down to 3 things. The first thing is preparation. So definitely on the nights where I have my gym bag, my work bag, my lunch bag, my Taekwondo bag, everything by the door, ready to go, and everything is in order, are the days that the mornings tend to go more smoothly for me. So doing as much as I can the night before to optimize my morning definitely helps. The second part of it is consistency. So there was a time and period when I was in neurosurgery, for example, I was getting up at 4:15 every single day. But for me, getting up at 4:15 was a lot easier than the times when I'm getting up at 7 a.m. one day, 6 a.m. another, 5:30 another. And it's because of the consistency. And your brain learns to think and predict in patterns, especially when it comes to sleep. So if you give yourself a consistent sleep schedule, you'll actually find yourself getting up before your alarm or on time with your alarm without needing to press snooze. So sleep consistency is a huge part of it. And then the third part of it is, of course, caffeine, because coffee is wonderful. Every single day for me starts with a homemade almond milk latte, and that makes my life way better. So there you have it, consistency, preparation, and caffeine. And that's how I win my mornings. All right, so we're getting up to 10 minutes here. Let's take a few more questions. So R. Scott Pix asks, what is the purpose of a checking block with the x-knifehand? So in full disclosure, Mr. Scott did test me for my second degree black belt just a few weeks ago here. So I do know him very well, and he is just trying to make sure I do know my stuff. So what he's referring to is this. This is a checking x-hand knife block, or x-knifehand block. And basically, in Taekwondo, it is a little bit archaic, but it is to stop a punch. So basically, if someone's punching towards you and you're putting this the x-hand out, you're essentially checking that punch and making sure you're keeping the attack away from your body. All right, so last question. So our last question today comes from Ravi Nandu, and Ravi says, hello, I'm trying very hard to work really hard, but I don't always succeed. And what can I do? My time is really limited. Please tell me something foolproof so I can achieve greater success. And Ravi, thank you so much for your question. What I'm going to say to you is there is no foolproof way to always succeed. We all fail. I failed, the greats failed, the people you look up to, the astronauts, the athletes, the scientists, we have all failed. And the key is picking yourself up again and learning. No matter what happens, if you fail, if you don't achieve the result that you always wanted to, that's okay. You have to ask yourself though, what did I learn from this? How am I going to make sure that I don't repeat this mistake next time? And what have I learned that's going to make me better? It's not the end of the world to fail. There's no foolproof method to make sure you always get 100%. You always go get that A+. You always get the promotion at work. But there is a way to make sure that every single time that you go through something and it's not the result that you want, you can learn from it. And then you can use that experience and make sure that every single time that you come across a similar situation in the future, you are using your past mistakes to build yourself up, to not repeat those mistakes and increase your chance for success. So don't ever worry about failure. Don't ever feel ashamed of failing. Think of it as an opportunity to learn and to make yourself better. And I promise you, you're going to get results. They might not be today, they might not be tomorrow, but eventually, by taking this mentality of wanting to build yourself up, taking every opportunity you can to learn from every experience you have, you're going to get there. So thanks, Ravi. So that's about it for questions from me. We'll have some more for you over the next weeks. Please keep your questions coming. Love answering them. Hopefully I can keep them up without putting too much time in between the next videos. As always, if you want to find me, you can certainly leave comments down in the section below. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Shauna Pandya. We have a new Facebook page going, Dr. Shauna Pandya, and then we're going to have a website up soon. We'll post that when it's ready. That's about it. Talk to you next time. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.